The ABCs of immigration. Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. This is going to be a relatively short video. It's just going to be to make sure that you understand that you have to learn about the different adjectives, adverbs, acronyms, abbreviations that USCIS uses in processing your cases. So even USCIS itself is an acronym, United States Citizenship and Immigration Service. And I had a caller to the Immigration Answer Show tell me the other day, Jim, you should do a video on all these abbreviations and all these form numbers because it's really confusing. We have the I-129F and we have the I-129. We have the I-130 and the I-131. We also have all these abbreviations like DOS, which is the Department of State, USCIS, which I mentioned, CBP, Custom and Border Protection. These are all the agencies that you're going to deal with when you go through the immigration process. But even within USCIS and the State Department, you're talking about lots of form numbers, weird letters, weird abbreviations. So let's talk about some of them in this video. So of course, the bread and butter of any immigration practice and the form that we deal with the most is the I-130. That's a petition for an alien relative, the I-130. So this would be any application filed by a green card holder or a U.S. citizen for a foreign beneficiary that they are related to. That beneficiary may be in the United States or maybe outside the United States, but an I-130 petition is sort of how you get it all started. A U.S. citizen can sponsor their parent, their underage child, or their spouse, and those people are all considered immediate relatives. Everybody else is in preference categories. So if you're an immediate relative, you can come right away to the United States. It's only as long as it takes to process the application itself. For all other categories, people are going to have a backlog because Congress has limited the number of visas available for those categories. So the I-130 is how you start that application. U.S. citizens can also file an I-130 for their brothers or sisters and for their grown children, whether they're married or unmarried. Lawful permanent residents also use an I-130, and they file that for either their spouse, their underage children. Those are in the F2A category. And then the F2B category is for unmarried sons and daughters of lawful permanent residents. Now, what are you talking about F1A and F2B, right? So what are you talking about with that? I'm sorry, F2A and what are you talking about F2A and F2B? So F2A and F2B is part of the visa bulletin. These are the family preference categories. So the adult children who are unmarried of U.S. citizens, they're in the F1 category. Now, you might ask yourself, F1, I've heard of that before. Isn't that some other kind of visa? Well, yes, it is. Only USCIS would use the same acronym, the same abbreviation for two different things. F1 visas are a non-immigrant visa for students, and an F1 visa, an F1 is also the phrase they use to refer to those adult unmarried children of U.S. citizens. That's in the preference category. So in the preference categories, you have F1, F2A, F2B, and then, darn it, sorry about that, F2B, F3, and F4. So in the preference categories, you have F1, F2A, F2B, F3, and F4. And these are very confusing, very, very confusing. So F3 are the married sons and daughters over 21 of U.S. citizens, and F4 are the brothers and sisters of U.S. citizens. So there's all these abbreviations that you need to understand if you want to read the visa bulletin, because the visa bulletin dictates who's getting their green card and when. And if you want to learn more about that, just look on our channel for the visa bulletin. But those F categories can be really confusing. Then we have the employment-based categories, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4. And then we also have religious visas, R1 visas. We have investor visas, E2 investor visas, EB5 investor visas. It really is a lot when you think about all the different abbreviations that they use and all the different terms of art. And that's the thing, is when you're dealing with USCIS, and even if you listen to the Immigration Answer Show, which is my free show I do about immigration, it will get to make more sense for you over time as you start to hear these things. There's people that watch our show now, they know all the nomenclature, they know all the names, all the abbreviations, all the words that USCIS uses, but it's like a foreign language. It really is a foreign language. And one of the things is, when it comes to immigration, I was self-taught. So I think one of the reasons I'm able to explain things to people in plain language is because I had to figure it out from a logical standpoint, not from a traditional standpoint. And at the end of the day, You have to look at the categories. You have to know what these phrases mean, because the abbreviations can really affect your overall case. So educate yourself. Watch our Immigration Answer Show. That's one of your best ways to learn about the lingo, learn about the abbreviations, learn about the language. And you can do that by subscribing at our YouTube channel, or by joining us in our Immigrant Home Facebook group. Those are the two ways that people get alerted when the Immigration Answer Show goes live. The Immigration Answer Show is a call-in show that I do 3 or 4 times a week, where people can just ask me whatever immigration questions they want. They can even ask me about abbreviations, so we would love that. If you're thinking about hiring us to help you with your immigration case, then we have a special number for you and a special email address. You can email us 314-961-8200, or just email us info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you make sense of the alphabet soup. Hopefully one of these days USCIS will make things more sensical, but for now, you might just need that cheater sheet to figure out what in the hell is anybody talking about. Thanks.